Welcome everybody to Snapwire's webinar of how creative freelancers are expanding their business in 2021 with our very own Head of Artist Relations, Audrey Ann Rodermond, and I'll be your moderator today. My name is Erin Sun, and I am the social media coordinator here at Snapwire. If this is your first Snapwire webinar, please comment and let us know where you're from. Hi. So Audrey, do you want to do a little intro for yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Audrey, like Erin said, Head of Artist Relations and Community, which is just a fancy way of saying that the creators are my jam. Everything that has to do with creators on our platform, on our projects, kind of pass through my desk, and I just make sure that you're taken care of. A fun little thing about me was I was a Snapwire creator at the very beginning before I joined the internal team. I was one of the first 100 people to sign up on the app, and then I did the stock sales and the challenges, and then I got hired for one of Snapwire's first custom content clients and convinced someone to let me on the other side, and I've been working internally for about 3 years. So I live and breathe Snapwire. I'm a true believer in it. I'm not just here to pitch you something I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at the chat right now, we have someone from South Africa, someone from Salt Lake City, Audrey, Seattle. Everyone is here, so that's awesome to see. I just want to give a quick reminder before we do begin that this is being recorded. So if you do need to, if you can't stay for the full 30 minutes, no worries. We will send it into your inbox shortly after, so you won't miss anything. And we also do encourage questions here, so we will answer them at the end. I'll go through that in a bit, but let me ask a few poll questions before we do all that. So it will pop up to the right. So the first question is, all right, you guys can see that. Are you a freelance creator? Yes or no? I'm sure if you're here today, you most likely are, but if you're not, that's totally fine too. Welcome. So it looks like, yeah, most of you guys are. And the second question is kind of following up with that. What is your specialty? Are you a videographer, photographer, animator, graphic designer, or other? I only had 5 options in there, so sadly, that's all I can do for now. But if you can just figure out what works best for you. Look, we have a lot of photographers in here. We do have some videographers, graphic designers, and others as well, which is awesome. 2 more questions. Have you heard of us before? Yes or no? Most of you have. That's great. Awesome. Give us about 5 more seconds on that. All right. Perfect. And then last question here is, are you interested in applying to be a Snapwire creator if you haven't already? Yes, maybe if this webinar convinces you, no thanks, or you already are but want to learn more of the benefits here. So it looks like most of you are, which is awesome, but you want to learn more. Some of you still want to apply. That's great. I'm going to put up a handout for the creator application. So it'll pop up in the center right there. Feel free to apply and click on that whenever you want throughout there. It'll be on your screen. So if you haven't heard of us before, Snapwire is an all-in-one visual production platform and freelance marketplace. And let me go through the agenda right now. So I'll be passing the baton real shortly. Audrey will be going over kind of what Snapwire is in more detail. Obviously the benefits and creator access to this, and kind of the breakdown of how the process works from beginning to end, next steps, and then this will be a 30-minute webinar. We'll end it with a little Q&A at the end. So again, please feel free to answer or ask any questions, or if you have any comments onto the right. And with that, I will hand it over to Audrey.
Sounds good. So just to clarify at the beginning, we do have 2 Snapwire platforms. We have 2 sites. We have the community site and we have our new production platform that launched about last summer. This is going to be all about the production site. Our community site is still there. If you're a creator on there, you can still access everything from challenges to stock sales. but it was getting too cluttered to take care of our custom clients. So we branched off and made a production platform, which is apps.snapwire.co, to handle all of those assignments that are working with clients directly. So there is that division. Just because you are on Community doesn't mean you can't apply for the other one, or vice versa, but you do need to apply to be on the production site. And so I'm going to go over what the production site can give you today. As Erin mentioned, we are a platform that connects creators and businesses worldwide together to create custom content. What does that mean? It can mean anything from advertising for their websites, their social media, to product placements. We work with a variety of clients, and we're just that middleman to help facilitate the production. We saw that there was a little bit of a disconnect between the freelancer and the big clients, and that lacking that middleman agency, that you don't want to be part of the big agency. You just want to have that freelancer mentality, but still do leave the business side to us. And so that's what we're here for. What Snapwire will do for you is that we help with competitively priced custom assignments. So we work with the client to make sure you're getting what you need to be successful, and vice versa. Our new platform has all of the production tools, such as a chat box. We have ways that you can bring in reviews so that other people can say, you know, like, I worked with Erin and she really killed it on this assignment. This is what we like, and other people can notice that. And then we have our team that can help you with the production, whether it's finding models, organizing your shots, selections with the client. And then of course we handle the payment. So there's no chasing clients for invoices, which we know is the worst part about being an artist. No one likes to look for their money. And then again, Snapwire is here to support you throughout the whole thing. We have support. Most of the time you're assigned a project manager, but we're always here to make sure you're not taking advantage and get what you need, and the client also gets what they need. So branching into what we look for at Snapwire, we work with a variety of clients. We have everyone from local banks of Canada, as I like to say. We do the small neighborhood shots. We do the local guys, to the big brands like Google, Lyft, Body Armor. We did some shoots with Amazon and Absolute Vodka. So we have a full range. There's a kind of photography or videography and branching into graphic design and animation shoot for anyone. What we focus for photography and videography is travel, fashion, lifestyle, headshots, events, product, real estate, food and beverage, commercial, and storytelling. So like I said, there's a little bit of everything that we work with. And this is how it works. I think this is the #1 question I always get. How do we differ from other sites? What happens after I sign up? So brands and businesses come to us and they say, I have this magical project. I want to make it happen. And we all know, and I like to say it, that 99% of all business is educating the client on what can and cannot happen. They say, I want $100. I have $100 shoots and I want millions of this with millions of models. And we all know that's not how it works. So our team helps break that down to make sure that it is digestible for both the client and the creator, and it's successful. Make sure we all use the same terminology. We've all noticed that clients sometimes have different wording than photographers, and we have to figure out what it actually means and translate that so everyone's successful. So they come to us, or with our new self-serve model, they'll be able to sign up for Snapwire and produce a brief by themselves. And then they find creators, or with our help, that fit their strengths, their styles, their location, whatever it needs, through a variety of tools. So when you set up your profile on Snapwire, you have the ability to not only upload your portfolio, what you do, your basics, but you can say what your price range is typically, how far you're willing to travel, specialty. So maybe you are a photographer and you are an amazing lifestyle photographer, but you have access, or you do a little graphic design. You can add that specialty too, so that you can become that full package that you really are. It's not cornering you in. It's not making you one kind of just profile. We really want to get that full rounded photographer. So once they decide who you are, they send the brief to you, and you can decide if it's a good fit for you. We understand that not every brief is perfect. It might not fit your availability, might not fit your budget, might just not be a concept you're interested in, and that's no worries. You can pass on anything. There's no minimum requirement you have to do to be on Snapwire. Of course, the more we work with you, the more we get to know you, the more we love you, the more jobs we're going to think, oh yeah, that person is a good fit for this, because you're just naturally in our mindset. But it doesn't hinder you. We have a cool thing, a suggested creator list that based on requirements of the project, it will generate lists of some of our best photographers that meet that requirement. So that's pretty great. So once you're assigned, the project is handled all through Snapwire. We have from the beginning where you figure out what the creative brief is, to choosing your shots, to payment is facilitated through Snapwire. You talk to the client through Snapwire, you talk to our team through Snapwire. Sometimes for bigger projects, of course, we branch out onto emails and Zooms and such just to meet the climate, but everything can be handled and is handled on Snapwire successfully. One thing to note is that we are not an employer, we're just here to help you, and we're a service tool. So we don't have those tax forms, and we don't take anything from you. We know we would not be anywhere without you. And so it's great to have you on our platform, and we want to treat you as such. So here's some things that you get from us. Obviously, I've talked about production tools, our teams, our services. But one thing I want to emphasize is this is a door for you to get to work with brands that would not naturally find you. No matter what your SEO is, no matter how great you are at advertising on your personal website, there's just some companies, especially those big brands and businesses, that aren't going to find you or look for you. They want to go to someone that can say, I confidently have people that I can rep and I am confident to send to you on shoots. And that's where Snapwire steps in. We know you guys. You've passed through our applications. We've worked with you. A lot of people end up talking to me personally before getting on. And that's what clients look for. So when they come to us, they're not just getting anyone and everyone. They're getting people that they know can do it. And they like that comfort. Businesses and clients like to be comforted when they're putting money and projects out there. So you're going to get that door that no matter what your personal branding is, they're just not going to find you because they're not looking for you. And the cool thing is that a lot of our companies don't work just locally. Just because Snapwire is in Santa Barbara does not mean we only work with Santa Barbara people. Clients, especially in this COVID environment, are branching out and just looking for the best person to do the job. We'll send product to you. You can produce a shoot for a European brand because they want that beach feel and they're going to pull in from California. So we're in that world where it doesn't matter if it's just your little home base. You may be, San Francisco's #1 lifestyle photographer, but you might not come up in the searches for brands, and we're here to close that gap. So that's my little pitch. I know we jumped into a lot of questions, and I kind of sped through that a little quick. But just so you know, our door is open. I am the creator person. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have feedback, you can either throw it through support, which is at the bottom of the slide, or my personal email. My job is to talk to you all day. So don't hesitate to reach out and get to know me, whether you are thinking of joining the platform, whether you've been on here for years. I want to get to know you.
That was great, Audrey. I know we have a lot of questions trickling in. We will get to those. But before we do, since people were coming in a little bit, I kind of want to ask everyone, where are you freelancers finding work today? Is it just through social media, or is there another website forum that you guys are going through? So if you guys can put that into the chat just to let us know, that would be some great feedback. But with that, let's go into some Q&A. All right, so Tracy asked, can you be a successful photographer on Snapwire without a huge social media following?
I think that's a really great question, especially as we're currently in this social influencer boom, right? There's a lot of little sites that are popping up that do influencers or small trade-offs for work, and we're not that. While our work may end up on social media, we do not hire influencers. When you set up your profile, we do not ask for your numbers. I don't care if you're followed by millions of people or just a couple. We really look for the quality and talent. With phones and photography, anyone can be a photographer, which is great. I think it's amazing, but we all have this tool that can open the door wide and we can capture a world around us, and people are really talented at it. But what we look for in Snapwire, in that really oversaturated community, is that we want someone that we want to work with on set. We want that professionalism, we want that joy, and we're really honing in on the people that can work that off of their phones.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And then the next question that we'll go through is Katerina asked how to gain opportunities with brands during COVID.
So COVID, I think, obviously it took us all by storm. I mean, the first few weeks at Snapwire, you just told us that our business completely stopped. All of our clients are producing out in the wild. We have travel brands. What were we gonna do? And we're seeing that come back to life. We had a hiatus, but I think during that hiatus, brands realized more people are looking at their social media, more people are looking online, and that content needs to be refreshed faster. Yeah. So we are seeing clients return, especially in the travel industry in the last few weeks. Those clients that were sitting a little dormant for good reason are finally realizing, like vaccines are getting thrown out, people are feeling a little more confident. Even if it's only local travel, we're seeing that travel industry come back and those clients start to produce work again.
Yeah, definitely. The digital shift has definitely, had a lot of consumers on the phone. So we are seeing a lot of brands needing this type of content, whether it is just local and smaller scale, or they need to go bigger because they haven't been in it for so long that they have these campaigns that they're thinking about and they need new content. And
we expect it from them too.
Right.
Like, we're sitting there on our phone, and if we see the same ad again, we're not interested. We're demanding more as an audience. And I think that's great for us creators out there because it means we have more work to create.
Definitely makes us think about, how to think even more outside the box,
Exactly.
So I think Snapwire is great to have a platform with all these freelance creators coming together and seeing what other people can do. It's just great to see.
Yeah, and it's rewarding from our side too. As an artist myself, I get to sit in the position that gets to give creators work in a pandemic that's really a lot of artists are struggling. And so I feel very fortunate to be in this position to get to pay and facilitate art when a lot of the world is closing down.
Hopefully it's going to go back to normal soon.
Slowly but surely.
All right, we'll go to the next question. Carmen asked how to get selected for jobs and improve acceptance rate.
So the biggest thing is your profile. And we just released some cool features that can help you build that out. So if you're a videographer, you can now upload videos and GIFs, but build it out and put in your best work of what you really want to be hired. Don't put in all your work. We all know we've done some jobs that paid the bills, that got food in our fridge, but put in the kind of work that you want to be hired and take time to fill out that bio. We obviously know you're a photographer, so don't write, I'm a photographer in your bio. Tell us a little bit more about you. Profile pictures are also a great thing to connect with clients in our team. We want to see, it doesn't necessarily have to be your face, but taking that time to put your branding or your logo or your face in there will create automatically a more professional feel. It doesn't look like something that you logged in, signed up for, and then left. And then when you can create new work, constantly add to it. There's no harm in uploading a couple photos every once in a while of a shoot you're really proud of, because that shows that you're refreshing and you're active.
Definitely. And following up with that, I kind of want to ask, I know projects are all different in this case-by-case basis, but what would you say is kind of like the best practices for each assignment in a, simplified way that you can kind of give everyone some advice on?
Like when you're assigned to a project, what you should do best?
Yeah.
I think the number one thing is communication. As sitting with our production team and even working directly with some of our creators, you can be the most talented person on the site. But if you aren't actively communicating in a professional, polite manner, we won't want to work with you again because it's a little bit annoying and it's a bit of a risk. So I really think that communication and that honesty can go a long way. We know things don't go perfect. Life happens, shoots don't go the way they are, people drop out, things happen, but communicating that with your assigned project manager or the client directly is the #1 thing I would suggest.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Few more questions here. Jess asked, what can Snapwire creators look forward to in the months to come?
So the cool thing about this new production site is that we decided to launch it not quite perfect because the community site had so many holes and our developers were spending so much time fixing those holes instead of like making things better. So we launched this new platform, and that means that weekly things are getting rolled out to make it a better experience for everyone involved. We just launched text messaging, that you will get a text message when a brief is available, and you can apply through that link. You can upload the videos and GIFs to your profile, like I mentioned before. The chat box was a huge thing that we added just a little bit ago, where you can have that active communication. The new things are coming out daily, weekly. Our team has this long laundry list, and we're constantly getting more ideas from our creators, from our clients, from our internal team, and it's just growing. So constantly things are going out to improve. And if you have an idea that you think we can improve on, there's a support tab on your profile that you can send us a message directly. And we may not get to it immediately, but we're definitely reviewing and we're definitely queuing it up because we want you to use Snapwire.
Yeah, our product and engineering team are just on it all the time. Like you said, it's just amazing how I see them always creating these updates. There's also like a suggested creator update that they added, which I think is great to really put your name out there for the brands and businesses looking for some creators that might not know exactly where to start. But it's exciting to see what more that we're going to be doing. And like Audrey said, if you do have any suggestions, please let us know. I will also be putting a little post survey after this webinar. So if you want to put anything that you think for some feedback in there, that would be great too, because we want to hear from you guys. You guys are the ones, at the back end of this, of our software. And so we love feedback.
You have to use it every day, so we got to make sure it works for you.
Absolutely. Okay, Matt asked, does Snapwire edit the images?
We do not edit the images. I know a lot of competitors out there or other software sites do this, but we believe you have the talent and we hired you for a reason, so why not show it off? While there may be some things that we ask you to do that you might not be fully confident, we will help in getting that fixed, but we want you to do your work and we want you to have your name and branding all over it. Our team will have qualifications for projects. I mean, we've all worked with clients that's, wanted the light editing, didn't want the heavy filters, lines and architecture shots, but we'll help you guide through that, but we want to leave the big stuff to you guys.
Yeah, definitely. And then Razul asked, is it better to concentrate, I know you kind of touched up on this, but is it better to concentrate on a few number of services with larger presence in each, or try to be in as many as possible?
I think you need to be the hero of your style. You really need to, like the big fish in the small pond analogy. We want to hire someone that can do that successfully. We don't want to hire someone that can do it all mediocrely. And in your mindset, yeah, sure. You might think, if I select all the boxes, I'm going to get more jobs. But the truth is, clients look for someone that can do what they need, like the best of what they can do. I'm not going to go find just someone that can do anything. If I really want a solid product and studio shop, I'm going to find that person that really emphasizes product studio work, because you want to be the best in the best. And despite what you may think, you may not be the best in everything. One thing we noticed in community, which was a big push for this extra platform, is that people selected that they could do 20 plus categories, but in reality, they were a really solid lifestyle videographer.
Right.
So I think narrowing down what you can do is the best thing you can do for your brand on and off Snapwire. Find your niche and roll with it. That doesn't mean you can't offer additional things. Like we have the specialty feature that we just sought out. So just because you are a hero in lifestyle doesn't mean you can't touch on some other things or have some other talents. But don't make that your main focus.
Yeah. And I am not ignoring your questions on the right. We just had a bunch of questions coming in before, so we're trying to answer those, which I hope are answering some of yours. But following up to the editing question, Joanna did ask, how about editing for projects that require uploading of raw files?
Some clients, yes. We have a client where we want all of the raw files and then they do the editing in-house, but that's a rarity. And it will be discussed in the creative brief before you start. If we need you to edit, if the clients can edit, it will be outlined ahead of time. Does that answer the question?
I think so. Hopefully it answered for Joanna. And I know there's a bunch of questions about some NFT right now. We will try to answer those in some blog posts for the future. But we have one last question that I want to ask you, Audrey. Diane asked, when inviting a creator to an assignment, how many other creators are being invited to that same assignment?
That is a really good question. We used to have the launch a brief, anyone could kind of apply for a model, and then we went more toward that specific nature. So if you are invited to a brief, most of the time it is because a client or our team thinks you are the perfect fit for it. But we do want to get it covered, and it may not be the best fit for you just because we think you are. So we do invite a couple other people to also apply for the brief, just to make sure that we can produce the client's work and we can get the project done. But it's all hand selected. We have the suggested creator list. We have people that source through our creators just to find the perfect one. I mean, the hardest part of our production team's work is the pre-production, where we try to find the perfect match. So if you're invited, yes, you may not be the only one, but you're hand selected and you're there for a reason. We're not opening it to a pool of all of Snapwire. We're not opening it to all of lifestyle photographers. We want you on that brief for a reason. We just know that it might not be the perfect fit for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think Rizal asked another question. Is it possible to amend mobile application so that we could submit shots to request from other Snapwire collections? Following that, he said, I can submit them this way when working from browser, but it seems to be impossible for mobile app.
So the new production site, app.snapwire.co, is not on mobile yet. And we know that is a huge hindrance, and we're working toward that, especially with the first launch of the text message services. But it takes a whole different idea to create an app that works the same way intricately that our website is working. But it is on the roadmap. It is coming because we know that's a big thing.
Definitely. And I think we still have some time. So Marika asked, do creators get to use images created in collaboration with Snapwire in their personal portfolios?
Yes. Some clients, it is project by project. Some clients have a higher, stricter copyright, buyout, or sharing rights, especially for campaigns that aren't live yet. But you are typically always allowed to use it for your profiles and your self-promotions. I mean, it is your work. And even if it is a copyright bout, that means that you can't sell it. It doesn't mean you can't show it off. One thing that I always suggest, and I learned this in school early on, was take a shot for you and take a shot for the client. Take a shot for the client first. Make sure you get that project done. But don't overthink it that you can only use those ones that you turn in. Take a couple shots that may be a little bit more in your style. We know clients like certain things, certain ways to fit their branding, but maybe you are really into flat lays. So take the picture with the model and then turn your camera and get that shot that would fit your style a little bit closer. So don't be afraid of that.
Yeah. And then Seeds also asked, what is the future of the community? It's not mentioned in snapwire.co. So how will clients find the pictures that creators uploaded the last few years on Snapwire? So I think he's talking about the community site. Yeah.
So community, previously snapwire.re is now community.snapwire.co, and that site still exists in its entirety. You can still upload photos to your profile. They can still be nominated through challenges and added to the marketplace for stock photos, but that is not used for custom clients. Everything is moved to the new production site for custom clients. It's not linked. The same work doesn't transfer. And in full transparency, clients didn't really use a lot of browsing community site because there were so many creators on there. And it was so polluted with just a lot of accounts. It was hard to narrow down. And so a big reason why we separated is so that we can find your work and clients can see your profile. Yeah. Does that seem about right?
I think so. I think that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I'm going to put in our social medias to the right. We did meet the 30-minute mark. We had a bunch of questions, over hundreds of them, and I know you guys are asking some on the chat. I really appreciate it. If we didn't get them answered in this webinar, we will be answering them in our FAQs, our blog posts. You guys gave us a ton of ideas for us to answer them through that, or we will do a direct follow-up with you. But thank you, Audrey. Thank you, everyone, for joining in wherever you are from. We hoped that we will be doing this next month. So thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.